So this is what a master level data rack. That to come down from. Oh yes, I mean, looks good, man. Gorgeous, eh? Not too bad, eh? Rightio kids, we are getting very close to done in here. I have a little gaze at that. A little bit of length for, you know, re-termination movement, whatever down the line. Not sure what I think about these as a connector block, but you know, we'll just go with it, I suppose. In here. Get this thing down. Alright, so we've got one more supplier to go in, which is to this MSSB L1. So it already has a control here. So that's that 180mm that you would have seen in the last video. Alright, and that one's just the essential. I would imagine this would have like smoke fans and the like running off it. So it's only like it's only this cable here. This is our last supply to run. Tin Radox, and it is a gonna be no fucking label on it, but what does it say there? Fire rated core, 4 core 16 plus earth. So it's a 60, yeah, I mean, that's what it was. 16mm squared, 4 core and earth. Alright, so that's gonna go, I'd say on that tray and down the fucking hallway. And it just goes out through the back fire stairs, out the penetration there. So we've got that to tie in, and the big set to tie in the rest of the way. And then once we get outside, we got to fuck around with that. Now this one here is a control cable from the generator. So that's got to go down into the auto transfer switch. Actually, it doesn't go into that section. This is locked up, but it goes into here. There's some terminal blocks there. Right, and then these two circuits here, I'm not sure whether they need to go down to there as well, or they need to go to this board. But they're for the generator. One's like a heater cable to keep something warm, and then the other one's just a battery charger, trickle charger. So yeah, this room's coming along. We've got the meter on, that you would have seen that already. Maybe if I'd had all my shit into gear, I'm gonna start fitting that off. And yeah, like this is moving along out here, so starting to get some gyprock up. And we'll get up here and start chopping some lights out soon. There's a lightning protection cable that's there that I need to get up onto the roof, and they did this one without telling me, but there's one coiled up right there, so that's got to, I'll have to pull a sheet off there and get it up into the roof as well. So this is the other room that's starting to a little bit. So this is the UPS room. So just for a layout, I'll come back to the door. This is the room as it looks. Okay, so we're going to have a UPS system there. That's a battery bank. There's another one of those to come in. And then there's a smaller UPS. It's about that tall, and 2 of them as well. So the big switch here is a bypass switch for the biggest UPS, and then there's a smaller one for the little one that'll it's just tucked outside actually. Okay, so again, this is a full-on video on its own, but I'm just showing you now in the vloggy thing. Okay, so that's our lighting board. Okay, so lighting, you know, it goes up to the board here, and then the power. This is the power. So on the power, we've got these isolation transformers, which again is almost another video on its own. It might be a big UPS changeover switch isolation transformer sort of combo video, because it's pretty full on here. So anyway, basically these are just a safety measure. To get a shock off something that's running through an amp isolation transformer, you basically have to be holding on to active and neutral of the circuit, because it magnetically isolates, like, you know, the supplies from the board. It goes through the transformer, and then it's only a magnetic connection. It's a little complicated, and I'm butchering it right now. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'll do some visual aids for you, and it'll all make sense, I promise.
But anyway, this is all going up. They're about 35 kilos each. There's obviously like that's all steel, and then the copper wire windings are in there. It's a 1-to-1, or very close to 1-to-1. And yeah, that's the work there that James did today. Nice neat way to do it. It looks pretty good, I reckon. Okay, so yeah, and this is the guts, and I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there the voltages there. You can up or down the voltage depending on what you need, slightly, you know, within reason. And then the supplies for the UPSs are here, including the bypasses. Again, don't worry about that for now, but I'll explain it all in detail in one of these videos. And yeah, just a little progress shot. Like the boys are halfway through terminating this, so that's sort of what they're doing. They've got a little bit of play here so they can come in and out, but it's regardless, that's pretty fucking tight, so power to them. Alright, but anyway, this generator here is a bit of a fuck up. It should be slightly different, honestly. It's not the generator we long story short, it's a different generator. The generator we had ordered was going to come straight up into a, you know, entry hole here, but this one, Brainiacs have decided that the cable entry is there, so to get around it, we've flattened the cable down. So we've got to flatten that down just a smidge more to get the lid on the tray. I'm going to build a galvanized box around this to cover all this up. I could galvanize box the whole thing here, and yeah, and then we're going to have to have another galvanized box to cover all that up, because it's obviously a live cable when it's in service. Needs to be mechanically protected, and the lid on the tray will do the job for these sections, but this bit here, like we can't have that hanging out that far. I mean, we can't have no tray there, so might just do a big galvanized box from there to there, cover it all up, and just come up to you. Yeah, anyway, so I'll have a finished shot of this tomorrow, but yeah, the guys were on it today, and just got to get that earth on somewhere on that bar there. But yeah, good job. Look.
It's the 4D sensor lithium powered green beam line laser kit by CPI. Ooh.
A treat as special for you gentlemen and ladies. The holstery magnets paired with either a MP1 or same holstery magnet paired with an MP2. This boy's pretty heavy, like it's on there pretty well. Can't argue with that, eh boys? What a combo, holstery and Vito. Woo! Alright, I've got the metal crank today. Oh my god, get my shit together. Okay, so got the fucking tunes blasting.
When you gonna clean my radio, Andrew?
Fuck me. Alright. I have my schedule for this board. So there's 3 here, but I've got the one on the left completed. Basically, because this is a hospital and there's field RCDs, I needed to go through, check all the circuits. I had the laptop out, just searching for the circuits on the plan. It's a little bit quicker than doing it like manually with the hard copy there. So all the circuits on this job were on the plan. It said, you know, CB27 for instance, so this one. Okay, so basically what I had to do is go through and make sure anything with a medical services panel which has an RCD, or any rooms that have like RCDs that are resettable in the room, which is like a patient area AS 3003 rule. I have to put a circuit breaker in the board, because you can't have 2 RCDs, because if you had a 30 milliamp RCD, a 10 milliamp RCD in the field, and the field one didn't trip and this one did, you'd have a staff member coming back to like a switchboard to reset a breaker. The idea with the field RCDs is that the staff, the general staff, like the nurses and whatever, if something does trip, they can go and reset it at the point of origin. Like, well, you know, where, you know, if it's a medical service, I've got to talk this much, I'll fucking turn around. If it's a medical services panel or an RCD that's in a room for a nurse's station or something, they can just hit reset, and if it resets, fine, they can just keep working. There's some pretty important stuff sometimes, like, you know, you might have oxygen or assistance, breathing assistance, all that sort of stuff. This isn't like a full-on emergency hospital, but I mean, stuff like that could happen. So we've got UPS circuits, we've got essential circuits, which is what this board is. So most of the medical panels are actually fed from this board. So flip you around, again, looking at this mess, like it won't make sense, but say for instance, we've got the fire indicator panel, which is an RCBO. I wasn't sure, but I'm pretty sure it does need to be because it's got an outlet internal. And then number 2's a circuit breaker, which, mind you, I haven't fucking sorted that out. Anyway, one problem to fix already. But I went through the rest of the list here and just checked. So, you know, we got some GPOs in the basement on number 4 there. It needs to be on an RCBO. And then we get down to number 10 there, which is a circuit breaker. And they're the preparation beds pre-surgery. So prep beds, I know what it means, but for that one, it's a medical service panel. So you have a circuit breaker here, number 10, and that goes out to the field. And then there's an RCD in the field to protect the outlets that medical services panel is having. I'm rambling, but it just makes these boards, like, you have to plan them out better than a usual board. Like, you know, if this was just these, you know, I'd just bang all the RCDs that I need in and I'd start fitting it off. I would have had it done like a week ago. But because I've had to do this, I don't want to fit anything off twice. And especially with your tails, your RCDs, your neutral and line need to go into the back of the RCD. For a circuit breaker, you've got to loom in all your neutrals that come down in the neutral bar. You know, that's not a common thing for millennial Sparkies. So it's a little bit different. So I'm just saying, there's another board that you guys I've shown you, and I've fit that one off. This one is a similar thing. So one's actually a little bit bigger because that's the power and that's the lighting for the essential in this section. So I can shitloads of stuff coming in. Anyway, I'll fix that number 2 breaker. That's the first thing I've got to do. And then I'll start doing the earths. So you can stay tuned and check that out. All right, so step 1 is completed. I've separated all the earths. I typically like to try and go out the back of the bundles. You know, that's not always the neatest, but looks all right. So I'm out the back of the bundles and all the actives and neutrals are out the front. Okay, so I just use like big hooks or whatever the fuck I've got on site, whatever to hook it up. So what I'll do now is loom all this earth in. I'll come down and then start terminating them. Once that's all done, I start splitting the odds and the evens to come down each side of the board. And typically what I'll try and do as well, usually if it was a RCD only board, I'd grab the whole, like these are all marked with my marked method, which I'll just show quickly. So that comes out here. Sorry for the shonky boy camera work. Alright, so these two. Right, so let's get some fucking light in here. Let's not use that light, that's horrible. Okay, so that one is 40 something, if it'll fucking focus. So 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 45, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 46. Okay, so that one's 46. So if we come up to here, 46. So now, sorry, that was a little bit fucking janky, but what I'd usually do is just tape these together, like at the end here. So then, you know, I mean, sometimes you've got the error of reading one, you put the active in and then you do the other. But it doesn't really matter, but I'm just fucking rambling here anyway. But so anyway, forget that shit. I've got all these marked, so they're marked with the same system. Fucking focusing is an issue here. Okay, so that one's number 9. You know, there's no other marks there, so 9 pitches for 9. I'll just have another look. That looks like number 4. What's the fucking cut this? Okay. Okay, so there's a pinch there. Fucking focus, cunt. God damn it. Alright, so that one there is 1 for, and a 4 for 14. 1, 4. Okay. So on and so forth, ad nauseum. Here's another example. If we can fucking just fucking hard to show you here, eh? Okay, so that's 55. 55? Yeah, 55. Pretty easy marking system, really. You mark all 3 cores at once. It makes it real quick. Only thing is, sometimes when you terminate one, you got to hold on to the thing that you cut off, because someone will come and talk to you. You're like, oh fuck, what cables are doing again? But yeah, you just hold on to this end and then you're good. Anyway, so yeah, I'll do the earths and then I'll see you soon, bros. All right, well, I got all the earths in there, so that's sort of how it ended up looking. So I've done the little hoop down at the bottom. This lets you get them in fucking super tight, so it looks really neat on the frontward angle. It's a bit dark there, sorry. But yeah, so they're all tied in. Next step again is to just start sorting out, you know, the odds and the evens for the sub-circuits, and then yeah, we'll get into fitting that. Well, it's Sunday today. Don't ask me why I'm in Sunday. I didn't work Saturday, so I just swapped the days around. I had shit on yesterday, so fucking loving this, man. Upholstery magnet. I fucking just did a short little clip for look at that, like whatever height you need it. Just all the tools fitting off. It's fucking great. So get one, easy. This is probably the most in-depth video I've made, but I'm just sorting out my circuit breaker neutrals. So they're going on this side, obviously, for the neutral bar, and you know, the actives for those circuit breakers if they're... Travis is here. Before Travis brutally interrupted me. Alright, so pulled all the looms in. Pull that down a bit. Why is that so high? Yeah, so that's in there. And we're coming down the cable tie mounts. If you don't want a cable tie mount, that's what a cable tie mount is. They're fucking awesome. They're about 20 cents each though, but you know, definitely worth it when, you know, it looks like this. So yeah, we'll do the same sort of little hoop up, and I'll do a little neat neutral job. These ones are the RCD neutrals, so I'm keeping them off to the side so I can pop them in. And like I said before, I've taped them up with the actives on that side. So these are all the actives that need to come down that side, down this side as well. They're sort of grouped here on this hook, and then all the actives that are going down this side are on that hook. So I've got it sort of organised. Well, I know it's organised, but it looks like a fucking big dirty mess. But yeah, just keep rolling and I'll keep you updated. Fuck that, mate. Fuck that. Go. Oh yeah. Hey guys and girls, I'm actually, I'll flip yours in the corner. When we started this job, we had some vandalism. Someone like chopped these cables short, so I'm just extending them now, and I'm going to put a galvanized box there to cover and give some mechanical protection. I'll put them in J boxes too, but there'll be some mechanical protection there to hold them, and they'll come onto the tray. And you know, they're mainly for the lighting here, so I really want to get them all extended into the board, and then I can concentrate on this as like a whole thing, because there's a couple of circuits down there that aren't in there. I really want everything to be in the board before I start terminating. Just makes it a little neater. So getting that done, I'll show you the result in a minute. Oh, there was a bit of swearing getting that done. I had to sit in there. I was lying on my belly here, but I ended up just putting my back against that wall and being pretty squished. It was uncomfortable, but that's all done. So I'll put those in some junction boxes, and then I'll run these cables in the board, and we can go ahead with all the fittings. I'll get this cover made up like end of the job. The junction boxes will cover us for now, and yeah, so a little job done, and we can do this to this board then. So ended up pretty neat. I'm pretty happy with that. That's a steel reinforcement earth. So I'm just going to bang that in the bottom, give it a label, and there's these 2 extra power circuits that come from the basement that need to hook up. But other than that, it's looking pretty good, Millie. Have a look at this fucking loose unit, top rung, doesn't give a fuck. Hey boys, so I'm at it again. I've got my cheat sheet here. So basically what I'm doing, I'm going through the plans here on the lappy, and I am checking what circuits what. So this is my lighting chassis. So it's pretty important that, especially with lights, more so than power, because power you just jam it into the breakers, no worries. But when you're doing lighting, you need to be aware of switching as well. So if you've got outside lighting, it's going to be on a contactor. If you've got 24-hour, like 24/7 active neutral earth, like for Dali fittings, which we do have in a few areas, there's stairwell lighting that I need to consider, and then switched like after hours, all that sort of jazz. You want to wire everything into contactors and do all that, and so just so you're doing the job once. Like, you don't want to get into a board that's nicely neat, like tied in, everything's fucking done, and then go, oh fuck, I forgot to do this. So spend some time before starting to fit off your board. Make sure that all your cables are in. Make sure that all of the emergency feeds are in. So like emergency actives are the other important one to make sure that you've all got in. You want to cable them in as you're going, and also have your feed from your breaker to your emergency contactor as you're looming in. Otherwise it'll, again, look a little chat when you've got to, redo some stuff. So make sure you do this. Check it on the plan. When you've got a laptop, you can do this. This is my little hack. If you're needing to find, like, say, circuit breaker 23, right? Or 23, sorry. 23. All right, and you can go through, it's a bad example, isn't it? Say 15. I know 15 is one. Okay, and it will find CB15. Okay, obviously, because I've got multiple switchboards on this job, it'll probably find another 15. I don't know why it's not finding. Piece of junk fucking computer. Anyway, I'll fucking edit these out. But anyway, point is, do the hard yards first. I've got the F set out. I've had to trace a couple of cables. Make sure that they're 100% right before I go in. And, especially when you're making your boards, like, you want it to look fucking real neat. Just do it once, because it takes enough time doing it like that. I know the only person opening that up and seeing it is another Sparky, but quality of work is important to me. And as an electrician, the issue is, as a Sparky, like, you don't have a lot of opportunities to show your craftsmanship. I mean, people look down a hallway here. If all the lights are in a straight line, that's as far as it goes. So for me, I like doing a nice job. I want to be like craftsman-esque. So take the time and make sure you do the best job that you can, all right? While also being efficient, because, making money at the end of the day is why we're doing it. And if you're working for someone, like I work for someone, making money for my boss so he can pay me lots of money is my priority too. So cheers, boys. Well, the concrete has left a few low spots, so before the build gets in, I'll cover their arse, eh? Got you, boys. Woo!